Brushes.
There it is again. It's been sitting in the bottom of my cupboard. And there it is again. Welcome and congratulations for getting here. It's amazing. We're all here. It's really, really, really special. And I have to say, I want to tell you a small story because I can't stop thinking about it. This reminds me of one thing in my life, which is I once lived in Africa. And I lived in a small village in Eastern Province, Kenya. And one day somebody told me, this is a place with no electricity, no nothing. Somebody told me that the cinema was coming. And I didn't quite believe it. But I did go down to the center of the village one night. And there was a sheet on a tree in the middle of the village. And there were two total shysters going around with an ancient cowboy film and an old projector. And they were showing this cowboy film to people who had come from so far away. There were these Meru tribesmen there with spears. And in the middle of the big shootout, this spear went and stuck in the middle of the sheet on the tree for the rest of the screening until the great kiss at the end. So this is what I'm thinking of tonight in Kinlochleven, and I couldn't be happier.
I agree. As I was stuffing a vegetable burger into my face, I was saying to Tilda, do you know what this reminds me? And a very serious thing, during the siege of Sarajevo, I went there, I was invited there. We went underground, there was a little cinema, it was lit by candles at a video projector. We showed VHSs of films that I'd brought from Scotland, and people again and again just loved it. And it made me realise, I was a young guy at that time, and it made me realise that in any circumstance you need cinema, like you need sustenance. I needed it like food. And through the midges today and the rain and all the fun and blah blah blah, it totally reminded me of that. Tonight's first film is about the pleasures of being on the road and about the nature of entertainment. We want to dedicate this screening to those people, those incredibly, incredibly brave people who've been demonstrating on the streets of Iran. And we salute them, and this is a tiny act of solidarity with them.
And we want Mohammed Ali Talebi, in particular The Boot, and possibly this film also, to be totem films for our 8.5 Foundation. The Boot is going to be one of the films that we hope we're going to be offering to children all over the world. And we feel not only strongly about this because these are masterpieces in our view, but also because we believe as cinema has this particular capacity for all of us to put us into other people's shoes, that there couldn't be a more important moment to put people into Iranians' shoes. And it's for that reason that we're particularly proud to show the films of Mohammed Ali Talebi, who's a world master, but also an Iranian. So, welcome once again to the awesome State of Cinema.
Okay, the film that we're going to watch this morning, as you know, is from India. India, the country that has produced more films than anywhere in the world, the country that took to cinema with such alacrity in the first place. The commercial centre of Indian cinema, as we know, is Mumbai, what we in the West call Bollywood. It's not quite called that there, but you could say that the artistic or cultural heart of Indian cinema was way up in the northeast, in West Bengal, focused on the city of Calcutta. That's where the great Ritvik Ghatak came from, Tapan Sinha, all those filmmakers. The most famous of the Bengali filmmakers was Satyajit Ray. When he was 8.5 years old, he read a kid's book called The Adventures of Guppy and Baga that was published by his father and grandfather, who'd done kids' books for all their lives. He started making films, took the world by storm, became the most famous Indian filmmaker abroad, and made serious masterpieces, mostly for adult audiences, often about children. When his son was 8.5 in the early 60s, he read The Adventures of Guppy and Baga because it was republished, and he said, "Dad, could you not make a fun film, not less adult?" And therefore, Satyajit Ray decided to make the film The Adventures of Guppy and Baga. Little did he know, my phone's going off. Little did he know that it would become the biggest box office hit in the history of Bengali cinema, by far his best known film in India. Every child in India knows all the songs of this film. It's sort of like the Indian Wizard of Oz. We, of course, don't really know it in the West. It's hardly ever seen. Most Indian films are perhaps 3 hours long. This is still quite long by our standards, 2 hours 10. It's being restored for DVD at the moment, but it isn't available. That the restoration isn't complete for DVD, so this is the unrestored version.
So let's go to India. Let's go with Satyajit Ray, very good companion and fellow traveller. Welcome to the endlessly reliable cinema of dreams. Good morning, pilgrims. Morning. You know, it's really starting to happen, this pilgrimage. There are people here, Giovanni and Martina from Italy, who read about us yesterday in Glasgow and have travelled all the way here to Fort Augusta. And Ludwig from Germany, who has been travelling for nearly 4 years, has decided to join us and be a fellow traveller, and he's coming on with us.
Wait.
And there are people here from all over the world. I think our winner at the moment in the distance competition is from Abu Dhabi. So welcome, but very warm welcome to those from Fort Augustus, of course.
Yeah.
My name's Tilda.
I'm Mark.
And we are roving, and we're picking you up on the way, and we're so happy. The film we're showing this morning is a very precious film to us. It's by an Iranian master. We showed it the other day, and for a lot of people it's their favourite film so far at the festival. And we've dedicated our pilgrimage festival to the search for road movies. And there's a sort of idea sometimes, a lazy idea, that the road movie was invented in America when the freeways were built in the 50s, and it's all about the road movies that all involve men in cars. And this film is about a small Iranian girl and an older Iranian lady traveling through a city, and the journey that they have. And we love it.
Absolutely, we love it. Iran didn't, of course, invent cinema. It came rather late to cinema. Its dominant religion is Islam, which is, somewhat reluctant about imagery at all. And yet, in the 90s and up to the present day, the nation of Iran has won more international film prizes than any other country. Why is this? It seems such a paradox. Possibly it's because Iran has no tradition of the novel as we have. Its main literature, the thing that even ordinary people quote to each other, is poetry. So cinema grows out of a poetic tradition rather than a novel tradition. Secondly, Iran is the only country in the world whose founding father was a mother. The first great Iranian filmmaker, Farrokhzad, was a woman. That's the only country where that happens. You get a different sensibility in the Iranian films, drawing from her extraordinary influence. And third, and this is the real paradox, we think, is that after the revolution, depiction of violence and sexuality was banned. This moved filmmakers onto other aspects of the human spectrum, you could say, like childhood, kindness, compassion, working together, trying to sort things out together, and hopefully those are some of the themes of this film. Of course, we cannot ignore the fact that Iran is going through terrible times at the moment, and we would love to dedicate this screening to those extraordinarily brave people who are standing up for their democratic rights in Iran at the moment.
a possible state of cinema.